Welcome to Marketing 8, Creating Video Content Part 2. And in this one, actually, I'm going to show this video in Part 3, but I'm going to tell you what we used and how we did this to create this little 2-minute video I did. And by the way, I'm a novice at this. I'm not a professional videographer. I don't know any more than the average person about shooting this kind of thing. But I want to talk a little bit about what equipment should you use. And because we're talking about low cost, we're not talking about spending tens of thousands of dollars to have professional videos done. But mobile phones are now great. Your top rated iPhones, Samsung Galaxy, Google Pixel phones. I mean, there's probably other ones, and they keep getting better and better and better. One of the things I really like is this little Osmo Pocket, and I actually have one right here. This is the one I use. These little Osmo Pockets are really great little devices. What's nice about these, they have a little screen on them, or, but when you walk, if you're walking down somewhere, you can see people walking. This eliminates that. And so it has active track, which, they're about $350. They come with a little screen. I actually use mine with a phone hooked to it, so I can see the picture. And then you could always flip the picture around so that the little screen is facing you and then photographing you. So you can use this for both selfies and then have it spin around and show what you're showing there. I think they're great. GoPro cameras, I think, are great, but they're so wide angle. They don't really work well in a downtown or in a museum or in an intimate setting. But if it's all about wildlife and nature, they're great. I mean, they're great exteriors, broad expanses that you're trying to showcase. They're great for sports. Their audio is a little bit difficult. Sometimes you have to do your audio on a second device and then pair them together when you edit the video. I think DSLR cameras, and by the way, I also have this one. This is like the Osmo Pocket, but a little bigger one. And this one has its own lens, so it's not using your phone. So if you don't think your phone has a good lens, this DJI, I can't remember what this is called right off, but it's the next step up from the Osmo Pocket. You hook your phone right here, and it has its own lens. So it's still recording it on your lens, but it's using its lens rather than your phones. Now, the next step is, of course, digital cameras. They tend to be expensive. They're large. They're a little more intrusive. I mean, I use a huge one whenever I do assessments in communities, but they are a great alternative. This is the one I use when I do assessments. It's enormous. But Sony, for instance, does a lot of audio is part of their thing. So I can hook up a camera to it. And when we talk about audio, I like this, the Sennheiser Clip. It plugs right into your phone. It could be a Lightning, USB-C, or a headphone jack. You can use any kind of connection, but I actually like having it, and it has a long wire. So if I'm doing selfie, I can have it way out here as a long. And the reason I do a long wire versus wireless is so there's no interference if I'm next to other electronic equipment or a band or anything like that. I like these. They're a couple $100. They'll clip to your whatever camera you use outside of like GoPros. That's great. Here's another one. And these are all lavalier mics. I think they're great. And this one here is really inexpensive. I can't remember how much. It was like $20. There you go, $20. And fantastic. So there's all kinds of audio. You get a little shotgun mic like this that you hook next to your phone. I use iPhone 13 with this little clip, and the cable's far long enough that it never gets in the picture or anything. And so these are how you could create a whole setup like this, and this is me just doing this Filmic Pro app I used, and you could see the cable is actually going down into my pocket for this one, but pretty unintrusive, and it works just great. So that's what you can do. I mean, even using, these selfie sticks work fantastic. You want to keep your arm so it's not obvious you're on a selfie stick, but these selfie sticks are fantastic, and they actually turn into a tripod. So you don't have to have a bunch of expensive stuff. Here, this little outfit is with that little Osmo Pocket, a selfie stick, the microphone, and then your phone. iPhone 10 or better is what I would always recommend. And so those are some, so I'm just giving you some costs here showing up on your screen of what these things would cost to actually do. And so you can see, iMovie comes with, if you're Apple, we tend to be Apple here. So this total cost is like $500 and you're set. This technology doesn't change that fast. And by the way, if you don't have a brand new or a newer iPhone, then borrow somebody's. I'm sure somebody around has one, or an Android phone. And so with this case, there it is there. And that's me with a little Osmo Pocket. And the things I use here, I can't believe how great a video you can get with good audio. Now, if you're interviewing somebody, then that turns out a little different. That's where you need things like a shotgun mic, and so here it is from the backside. What you can see, I'm filming with that, and this was just in a backyard doing this, and then when you film, keep your elbows to the side, just to keep less movement around there. It adds stability. So that's something you could do. 2 hands on selfie sticks, if you can, make it great, particularly when you're not filming yourself, you're filming something else. And so that's a great thing that you can do. And so these are just giving you ideas of things that you can use inexpensively to really create great videos, and don't make it obvious that your hand is out there, like I said, like you can see there. So in this case, I was filming that Nellie Bly kaleidoscope that I'll show you in the next of these series. And there I am with my phone, that little Osmo Pocket. And right now what I'm doing is I'm shooting B-roll. What I'm shooting is the area, not necessarily the kaleidoscope store at this point. And I'm saving those. And this is me in downtown Jerome, Arizona, which used to be a ghost town. But once again, this is not intrusive. It's not carrying out a bunch of luggage. There's all kinds of things you could do. If you feel, you could even mic up a second person with that little Zoom XYH5 mic capsule. These are where you keep your audio separate, and we could go into this, and there's tons of videos how to do this. Once again, we could go, this is another step up, I would say, because now you can have you wearing a mic and another person wearing a mic if it's you and you're interviewing somebody. So in this case, you can see all of these things. They're also in the handout for you. This is now we're up to another $250. But now we can have multiple people on camera if you like. So it's a great setup, but the audio is separate. So you have to pair those together later, and so there you go right there in this case. So these are just all examples of the type of equipment you can use. And always wear a shirt or a blouse that contrasts with the background, whether it's light or dark. Try to avoid small squares or dots. Sometimes the camera can get confused by those, but something with a general pattern, and you want something that so that your lavalier mic isn't too obvious. And then of course, this is me wearing one of those with that where I add the sound on a separate device and then combine them together in post-production. And so these are all these things that you could do that are great equipment. And by the way, if you go to YouTube and just say how to make your own YouTube videos, there's a ton of advice there. But you might be wanting to be on camera, but you also want to catch the sound of a county fair or a concert. In that case, this is where having a microphone like this, in addition to your lavalier mic, would be fantastic. And so there is needs for these kinds of things where you want to capture that. In this, and here's some little inexpensive way to get secondary mics. And so that's another option. And we could spend all day on this, but I just wanted to give you an idea that it doesn't have to be expensive. But even in these cases, you can always get a shotgun mic. And this is what I use on that camera. And by the way, this big furry thing is called a dead cat. I did not call it that. I love cats, but that's what in the world they call this. What it is this is the actual microphone. It actually keeps wind noise and noises out of there. So it concentrates on you. And so I can mount this on this big camera or any SLR like that. And I can capture it in an offline right there, that little Rode mic that I showed you will capture it offline for you, and then I combine it later. And so those are things that you can do. And when you go to influencers, here it is. Markiplier's YouTube channel, equipment and gear. Logan Paul's YouTube video equipment and gear. So you can go to influencer gear and look at all the gear they're using. But I want to tell you, just get going. All you need is a good phone and a mic to get going, and you'd get better over time. And so when it comes to software, these are actually on your phone. Apple, Android, excellent features. I like Filmic Pro because you can adjust the light. It does a good job capturing video. So this is a way to capture it. But if you just use your native iMovie or whatever it is in Android, easy to use. Filmic Pro is like $15. I like it. I think it's great. Movie Pro is another one that you can use on Apple or Android devices. And these are on the phone and on your computer. And so canva.com is a great place to get like video screenshots, like that opening slide, or if you're saying, like the screenshots I use in the beginning of all of these videos, video posters, social media posts. Canva is pretty inexpensive. It's a great way to get stock photography and actually do titles. You can do it in production software, but it's $15 a month. It can be free. You can do it for free, but a lot of these, this is me in Canva using that little purple background on a photo of me at an Indian ruin that we saw. This is a Canva photo that I did this. This is the shot of the little video I did. So that's my cover shot for the video, and then goes into the video from there. And I did all that in Canva, and you can do it for free. And so when you go to these websites and these things, you could go here and I do have a few videos there, nothing very professional, but it's just me learning how all of this works. My favorite travel apps, how to pack for a 2-week trip. You can just see, here's how a non-professional does it. Don't emulate me, emulate video influencers. And then finally, when it comes to the content, and this will be the last one for this session, this is what we call pre-production. This is when you're getting ready. What are we going to shoot? And then where's the location? Are we there at the right time of day so the sun is shining on it? By the way, overcast days are sometimes the best days to shoot because you don't have strong shadows. But you have to plan some of these things. What is your subject matter? If we're going to get somebody on camera walking by that you can actually tell who it is, we should get a photo release from them. And we'll make sure we include one of these in the handout section of this video. So they say, oh, here's a photo release. So if you get somebody on camera with their permission, you're just saying, yes, I don't mind you filming me, as I'm walking by or as I'm in your shot. And this is only if you can recognize them. Okay, if you're shooting them from behind, you'll see a lot of people do that. They shoot them as they're walking away because then you don't need that photo release. Kind of a script or what you want to get across, but you don't want to seem too rehearsed. We like things that are natural. I don't read from a script when I do these videos. And I think it makes it more natural. And then, okay, we need to shoot this. We need to shoot this. We need to shoot this. And by the way, you don't have to be on camera for most of these. And then when you actually produce your videos, you're shooting your different segments. They don't need to be in order. Say, oh, I'd like to borrow a drone from somebody and get a shot of a big crowd at a concert or a county fair. And we're going to include that somewhere in the video. So you're going to make a collection of these little B-roll footages, and you could use them for this video or any video you're going to create, or even down the road. And then post-production is where you actually edit and you put the little pieces together. Compiling the story, editing, adding audio. If you have to add it separate, your any credits that you want to run, thanking somebody or thanking a location. And so elements of a great low-cost video is on-camera appearances. You need somebody on camera that's enthusiastic, that's energetic if you can, even if they're low key, and I think like Gabriella Viola does a great job with that. Logo animation. I'll get more into that in the next one, but it's just a little intro you might use for all your videos. That might be your logo animated that you can just clip in there at the beginning and the end of each video. And I'll show you that when I show you the Nellie Bly one, the Kaleidoscope store. And then the video itself, Typically it's got a whole bunch. I showed you in the videos I showed how many little segments there were in there. And then you can do off camera somewhere. You're showing that drone and you're in your office, your studio on your computer. And now you're doing off camera voiceover, where you're not actually on camera, but you're explaining something. And so that's nice. And then animations like maps or showing locations, things like that. And then background music, you can get royalty free, logo animation. And so these are the elements that you'll need. And we'll get into all of these details. That's why we're doing this in 3 series. And your film shoot guidelines, shoot in 1080p or 4K. But you always want, in most places, still do 1080p format. Do it in widescreen if you can. I know Instagram is square, so you can always, crop things down for Instagram. And then there you go. That's more upright. You shoot upright and then crop down the top and bottom. And then avoid using the built-in microphone. I think I covered that one enough. And then don't use digital zoom. You can zoom in when you edit, but using digital zoom actually starts to pixelate your picture, unless you're using a professional camera that has built-in zoom. But most phones just do it. And then when you edit it, you can always zoom in. It actually makes a nice effect. And then use both hands whenever possible, like you see he's doing here in this in this video shoot. And then when you show clips of great places, always add text. If you're going to show different places, put where we'll find it. Because a lot of times I see videos go, where's that? I want to go there. Where is it? And so always add that text right there, even while you're talking, so we could see where you took these shots, and I think that's very, very important. And finally, I'm going to end with one more example. This one is in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm showing you different types and different ways of showing of shooting these videos. So let's take a look at this one.
Welcome to Chattanooga, the gateway to Tennessee and the scenic city of the South. Hello, I'm Victoria. In the next few minutes, we'll follow a wonderful 3-day itinerary. Chattanooga is nestled in the southeast corner of Tennessee along the Georgia border. It is conveniently located to Nashville and the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, as well as Atlanta International Airport. From outdoor adventures in the mountains and water adventures on the Tennessee River, to bustling restaurants, a thriving art scene, as well as being steeped in history, Chattanooga has it all year round. A brilliant place to kick off our first day in Chattanooga is downtown along the riverfront. First stop is the nation's largest freshwater aquarium, the Tennessee Aquarium. With over 10,000 animals, visitors repeatedly vote it #1 in customer satisfaction. Next, we'll take a stroll on the Walnut Street pedestrian bridge, part of the 13-mile paved Riverwalk. Then we'll hop a ride on the free electric shuttle to see the world-famous Chattanooga Choo-Choo Terminal Station Complex. Originally opened in 1909, it once welcomed thousands of train travelers. Today, it's home to the Chattanooga Choo-Choo Hotel, designated as an Historic Hotel of America. Day 2 of my visit to Chattanooga will be spent here at iconic Lookout Mountain. Just minutes from downtown, it's the perfect place to while away a few hours. First, we'll explore Ruby Falls, a massive underground waterfall that's been popular with visitors for over 85 years. Then take a ride on the Incline Railway and see America's most amazing mile. From the top, check out the awe-inspiring views and historic landmarks at the Chickamauga Chattanooga National Military Park Unit, part of the oldest and largest of America's Civil War parks. Relax over lunch at Rock City Gardens' Big Rock Grill, and then take a stroll through their award-winning rock garden where you can see 7 southern states from Lover's Leap. Before leaving town, head to Coolidge Park on the North Shore, or get your feet wet at The Passage, a memorial to the Trail of Tears and Chattanooga's Cherokee Native American history. What a trip! I've been blown away by the number of things to do here. Come and discover Chattanooga, Tennessee for yourself soon.
So in that video, there's where you can go see it again. That was 2 minutes and 48 seconds long. She did a great job being an on-camera host, but you probably noticed a lot of it was off-camera audio over those clips of people biking and walking and all those things. She was only on camera like 3 or 4 times in that whole thing. A sample itinerary is what she did, which I think is fantastic. I'd love to go do that, actually. Does it make you want to go there? And that included 50 little clips. A lot of those were B-rolls showing the different activities. And so that brings us to Marketing 9, creating video content, part 3. That's where we put it all together and show you how to produce it.